Ricky here with Breaking Your Barriers with our segment Hanging Out with Local Heroes. And I'm always going to say it when I mean it. And today, I mean it like every time I've said it, which is I get to hang out with a brother who is genuinely amazing. That's the only word I can use to describe this brother. He's my brother from another mother. And he's one of the most down to earth people that I know, one of the most coolest, chill people you'll ever meet in your life. No matter what's going on around him, it's not going to bother him. And the reason why I have to show off for him is because he will never do it for himself. So let me go and give you a background about my man who's going to be sharing his story today about what he's gone through and how it's going to help you. First and foremost, this brother has been invited to the White House. He's not going to share that with you. I will. He's been invited to the White House because my man is a genius when it comes to mathematics. And sure, that's great and wonderful. More importantly, this man, he doesn't show off his genius. He shares his genius. He teaches children. I can keep going on and on. This interview will be me just talking and showing off for my brother over here. Not only has he been to the White House, he is also a man who has been knighted. Knighted, yes, knighted, yes, yes, yes. There's nothing more than I can say. I can continue on and on, but that's not the point behind this. The point is, my man didn't let anything stop him from achieving his dreams. English is not my brother's first language over here, okay? So that's not a reason for anybody to say, well, English isn't my first language, I'm not going to succeed in America. He did it. He succeeded. He's going to share a story of all the hardships he's gone through and share some of the things that he believes will be of value to you listeners. I don't want to make you guys wait any longer. It gives me amazing and great pleasure to introduce my brother, Jose Manaiza.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ricky, for having me in this incredible podcast. And I'd like to definitely extend my greatest gratitude, to you and your team, for giving me this opportunity. Yeah, and I would like to share about like me becoming a mathematician was fully based on the power of intention.
Mm.
And I want to go deeper on that intention. when
Please.
I was, so when I was 7 years old, I I remember being in the my grandfather's library, and in that library, he used to have the images of three American icons. So on the left was Abraham Lincoln. In the middle was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Wow.
And to the right was John F. Kennedy. And I remember myself asking my grandmother, like I asked my grandmother, like, who are these people? And all I remember is that she said to me, they were excellent readers. Now, as a kid, I did not like reading at all. You know, I was, I didn't like reading. I have books all around me. I mean, in fact, my grandfather is a historian. I mean, he had books everywhere there.
Wow.
But I never opened them. It was 7 years later when I was 14, is that there was this teacher, right? She was like our next door neighbor in Tegucigalpa, Honduras. We moved from Aceiba to Tegucigalpa, and I remember her. She's Teacher Brown. So Teacher Brown, she was so kind to us, and I remember these gifts that she gave me, and that was a book. And that book was on the history of the White House. It was a children's book.
Wow.
And so she used to teach at an American school in Honduras. And my parents, we just didn't have money for us to attend an American school. We went to a public school. And but I remember this, her act of kindness of giving me that book, and she really wanted to make sure that I read it. I want you to read this book, and she would check on me. You know, she would check on me and say, "Hey, how's the book going?" I would say to her, "It's going well, Teacher Brown." But in reality, I haven't even opened it yet. But so it got to a point where she actually looked at my eyes and she said to me, "You know that I want you to read the book. And you know what? Unfortunately, if you don't read it, I'm gonna ask you to give me the book back
Wow.
because I can give it to someone else who can actually benefit from
Right.
it." And oh my God, just in the way that she said it, I said, "Oh my God, I'm gonna read this." So, so now I started reading. Right? So inside the book, I was inspired by the history of the White House, specifically about Benjamin Banneker. So Benjamin Banneker, he was a mathematician who designed Washington, D.C. using pure mathematics like geometry. And he, gave birth to the White House. It's like one of the greatest design ever. And I don't know, Ricky, if you ever read a book, I was so like, I couldn't put the book down anymore. I was so into it.
Wow.
And even though I was not a good student, I was not good at math. I mean, the only class that I would get an A was in physical education.
Guilty, guilty, guilty.
Yeah, oh my God. So I said to myself, I remember, I just set an intention. I said, when I grow up, I'm going to be the greatest mathematician I can be. I want to be like Benjamin Banneker. And people were laughing at me. Come on, just look at your grades, because they were describing me. They were describing me based on their past experiences. It was not based on my God-given destiny.
Right.
And that book changed my whole life. And to keep the story short, 8 years later, I found myself being honored in the White House as one of the great mathematicians from UCLA. Right there, October 16, 2006, I was there in the Oval Office. And that is the power of intention. The power of intention doesn't care about your past accomplishments, your past, you can have a track record or something here, and it doesn't matter if you have the tools of them, if you have the money of them, that has nothing to do with that. So the power of intention can override whatever past circumstances and determine a new destiny for you. And that is the message that I tell all my students and everybody, I know, is that wherever you are right now, I don't want you to bring the past into the present anymore. All I want is your intention. And I'm very honored to be here at this wonderful podcast of Ricky Corte to go into the power of intention. Go deeper.
Hey, brother, believe me when I tell you this, and this is coming from a friend to a friend. Let me tell you, listeners, when I first met Jose, it was at a speaking engagement, and when I first met him, he reminded me of myself, and I think we saw each other in each other's attitude. We're both fireballs. We're both full of energy. If you put us in the same room, the earth will implode because we're just so energetic. So it was so amazing meeting you. And the thing I loved about you, Jose, is you've always been this down to earth fellow. You've never boasted about anything you've accomplished in your life. You've shared it because you want people to realize, guys, if I can do it. I was not a good student. You can do it. It's a power of intention. You shared that with me when you first met me. And I've always followed you, and I've always said, you know what, this is going to be a friend of mine for the rest of my life. This is somebody who I'm going to follow. I know he's going to be a success. I know he's going to motivate so many people around the world. And guess what? He already is. And it's such an honor having you, brother. And I was going to ask you, based on what people would ask me, what struggles did you go through before you achieved this level of intention as well as success in your life?
Thank you for that question. Wow. I like to start by, you know, this is really a really powerful question that you asked me. Uh, that conversation right there that I had with Tisha Brown, that was a turning point. You know, sometimes it's good that we have people that confront us
Yes.
in such a way that will direct us to the right path. And that's what it takes sometimes, you know. And I think that is part when, let's say, for example, right? So when you look at intention, right? So I'm gonna put a visual here. So let's say I'm gonna put a visual. So let's say right here in this point right here, this is where you are, right? And let's say your final destination is this point. This is the destination, right? So the destination itself is just a goal. So sometimes we mistaken a goal with an intention. Now, here's the difference. The difference is that the intention is the energy behind every action, is the journey. So from this point right here, all the way to the final destination, when you do it with intention, you are enjoying the journey. There is gratitude in every single second, every single moment. And sometimes it may not be like a straight line. There may be sometimes, you know, sometimes there will be some obstacles or something, but you just enjoy the moment because you're doing it intentionally. Now, what happens when you are goal oriented, just goal oriented, and you disregard everything else? It's easy, right, to be disappointed sometimes. And so that's why a lot of people, they don't reach whatever the final destination they want to do because they just didn't have intention.
Right.
So I like to say that in this particular example, Tisha Brown, she was an angel or a messenger that was telling me, hey, you need to go in this direction. And one of the ways that she was directing me was for me reading the book. You know, and that's what it is. You know what? Our destiny is like one book away. You know, and that book could be right there in your home.
I'm telling you, brother, everything you're saying, it hits home because you're right. If you're goal oriented, you will be disappointed because you don't achieve that particular goal. But if you have that intention, similar to what you just said, you're right. It is the journey. And let's say you do hit this goal, but guess what this goal is? It's not even a goal. It is a pit stop. It's a place for you to relish and enjoy for that moment, and then continue moving on with your journey, and then making more impactful moves as you go along, as you learn. I love that. That's definitely a very wonderful way to look at life because we're going to run into mistakes, but guess what? For me, a mistake is just a point of progress because that's where you improve. I was going to ask you, brother, what suggestion do you have for those people who, and you said it earlier, but I would love to hear something more specific that you would recommend for people who don't have the mental capacity, who may not have the physical capacity, who may be lacking in some area. What is your personal recommendation and experience that you can give to these folks who need it?
Thank you. I will say, Ricky, that when we have a limitation, you know, let's say the limitation is, so there are two types of limitation, right? We have the internal limitations
Mm,
sometimes internal limitation could be the lack of motivation. It could be procrastination, right? It could be many things, right? And then you have the external limitation. So the external could be like the ability to listen, the ability to see. It could be, I have a physical injury, I'm injured with something, right? And so I like to say that at least for me, one of the things that it worked for me when it comes to overcoming those limitations
Mhm.
is to speak your intention aloud. And when I mean by speaking your intention aloud is when we, and I know this is really deep, but when we actually declare whatever is coming out of our mouth, it becomes reality. Let me tell you, let me just give you a very specific example. For example, right now, I was having this kind of like pain here on my left twist, right? And it could be because of repetitive movement. It could be because of my when I'm texting, or when I'm driving, right? And what I notice, right, is that when I notice the pain, right, I feel it hurts, right, and when I go ahead and say with my mouth, right, it hurts me. The pain get magnified.
Right.
So, and I catch myself. So one of the things that now I'm doing is that I'm saying, you know what? My left hand is fully healed.
Yeah.
I declare that my left hand is fully healed. The pain is gone. And the more I say it, right, I started feeling it, right, that it's not, the pain is not longer there anymore. So that is just a particular example when, because pretty much what comes out of our mouth is the law, is the law. So one time, definitely it is true. It was true that I had pain here. I felt it. But there was no need for me to magnify the pain by saying more about it.
Right.
So I would say, whatever circumstance you are, for the audience, the audience members, whatever limitation you having, whether it is an internal limitation or an external limitation, you can override it by declaring a new destiny, an intention.
Wow, brother. That was not only was it deep, that is something we all need to hear. That is something we all need to apply in our lives because I like what you said earlier with regards to external factors and internal factors that are your limitations. And one of the most powerful limitations that we have are internal. Like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. And then it's magnified by the external by them saying, hey, Jose, I don't know if you can become a mathematician. And then you end up believing it, now destroying your own dream. So I love that. That is something that hits home with everybody, me, you, everybody around us, anybody listening to this. This is one thing that we took away from today's get together with my main man, Jose. The power of intention. What is your intention? What is it you want to do with your life? It starts first in your heart. It moves to your head to support that. And then, most importantly, the most powerful muscle in your body, what comes out of your mouth from your tongue. Speak powerful words of positivity, intention, and most importantly, from my friend, it's all about being humble. Because this man, like I told you, is one of the most humble people I've ever met in my life. Now, brother, before we end today's amazing session, is there any words of wisdom? You've given us so much already. Is there any words of wisdom or any positivity you'd like to close us out with?
Yes, I like to say for the next 21 days, for the next 21 days, I want you to choose a very specific intention that is very important to you, to your heart, and I want you to speak it aloud. I want you to say that intention, say it 17 times in the morning when you wake up and at night before you go to bed. I want you to just choose an area in your life where you've been having this thought in your head, like I want to be, I don't know, whatever that dream has been for you. Let's say, okay, I want to learn how to drive a car. I want to learn how to, I want to own a motorcycle, or I want to actually meet the love of my life. Whatever that is, like I want you to start saying it aloud and say it 17 times. I want to demonstrate to you a specific example. Just not too long ago, you know, I I've been having this dream of driving a Tesla, having a Tesla. And I've been having the dream, like I had it in my thoughts and everything, like since 2012 when Tesla came out. And I remember going to the Tesla, I did a test drive, and I liked it. When the Tesla advisor, he said, hey, are you ready to move forward, right? At that time, the cars were $100,000. And and I didn't have the means. I just didn't have the resources. I didn't have the credit. I didn't have nothing. I mean, I just and part of that dream just died in me, like it was dead, because I put my emphasis on the limitations. Now, later, really later, now I started doing this exercise, and I started saying, you know what? I am happy driving my brand new Tesla. I am happy driving my brand new Tesla. I am happy driving my brand new Tesla. I am happy driving my Tesla. So I will say 17 times in the morning and at night. And to keep the story short, on July 4th, the day of independence of the United States of America, I found myself driving in my new Tesla.
Hey, brother, if that isn't the power of intention, I don't know what is. So once again, for those of you listening, my brother over here is no different than you and me. There's no difference. We all have pain in our life. We all have struggles in our life. We all have our internal limitations. We all have our external limitations. But the most important thing you're ever going to do is this. And this is from today. You have to make a choice. And what I mean by that is you have to choose what your intention is. You choose your intention either to be positive or you choose your intention to be negative. But my question is this, why would you even make negativity a choice? Choose that positive intention, try it for 21 days, post a message here, let us know that you achieved what it is you're trying to achieve in your life, whether it's a car, whether it's changing a trait, whether it's changing something that you have been wanting to change or achieve in your life. Post it in the comments. Make sure you send a thank you, and I'm going to make sure my man Jose gets it. Otherwise, Jose, you my man, like I said, you're amazing. And when this pandemic slows down, we need to grab lunch because I want to get into that Tesla with you, brother.
Definitely, I will help you out.
Thank you, brother. Hey, thank you once again, my man Jose, my local brother over here, my local hero, for sharing these amazing words today. Until our next video, leave us a comment. Leave my friend Jose a compliment, a comment, a hello, whatever you want to leave him. And I promise you, he'll be on the next video inspiring you with even more amazing words of wisdom. We'll see you guys on the next video. Have an amazing day and keep breaking those barriers.